What's going on, everyone? I would like to welcome you to another episode of Envision, the Sweet Life podcast. My name is Nicole Envision, aka Envision Speaks, and this is
Chanel Sweetz. And today we're going to talk about all things travel. So, international travel, US travel. So, let's start with US travel. Nicole, tell me what's your favorite place you've been or the best place you've been in the US?
okay. I don't know if it's the best, but the first one that comes to mind is I'm a foodie. I love New Orleans. That Creole food be slapping. It's nothing better there than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they food is immaculate. Give me some jambalaya, a po' boy, some red beans and rice. Your girl's in there like swimwear, okay?
Beignets.
Oh, yes, yes.
I was like, I've been, and the food is really good. Like, I'm not a foodie. Not my. I like food, but I'm not a foodie. I cannot give myself that classification. But I do remember this like pasta sauce from this random like oyster bar, and it was so good. And I don't eat oysters, but I love that sauce. So if I do go back, which I think we're talking about for my birthday, we might be taking some trips. If
Okay,
we do
okay.
go back, I'm talking about you and I.
I know. I'm a third wheel on that boy, to be honest with
Oh
y'all.
my
But we'll have to
God.
talk about that. I'm
There
going with her. Maybe I'll find me a man, my man before then.
you go. Yes. But no, so I'm like, I really hope that place is still there because this is way before COVID. So different time, different places.
Very much so. I'm sure it will be though. New Orleans kind of, I don't want to say it, but they're no matter they've had hurricanes and everything, and a lot of stuff have came back around, or the culture is there. Let me say that is one of the places I go to, and it seems like no matter what goes on, trial or tribulations, they will keep their culture going and flowing. Okay.
Yep,
And honestly, too, New Orleans got some good holes in the walls. So don't, veer away from Bourbon Street, you guys. I'm telling you, it's some amazing food down in New Orleans.
it is.
Yeah, but what about you? What is your favorite domestic travel spot or first one that
Um,
comes to mind?
it's like I have quite a few actually. It's like everywhere that I've wanted to go within the US I've been except for like Hawaii. I haven't been there yet. But I would say it's a toss up between Miami and Las Vegas. And I'm somebody who would go to Vegas like every year at one point. Like I absolutely love going to Vegas. I love the vibe. I love the environment. I love the people. It's always something to do. Always something to do. We've already talked about our
Right.
first Vegas trip together, and that kind of sparked it for me. I was like, I want to come back all the time. I've been back since I went during COVID actually, and surprisingly, people were out. This was like August of 2020, and people were out, and they were
Yeah.
it was
Everybody
real
went to Vegas. Yeah, that was the hot spot during
fun.
COVID.
Exactly. I was like,
They
we're
was
not
living
getting
they
it.
YOLO lifestyle out there. They was in the
Yes.
pools and everything.
Oh yeah, I was amongst them. I was like, our pool was full, but we got some great hotel prices. Let me tell you.
And I will say that when I've been researching, I used to go to Vegas a lot of times, or we have been to Vegas a lot of times. But I've noticed that the hotel prices are not what they used to be. I mean, back in the day, probably I would say like 2012, 13, 14, 15. You can go down there and stay on the strip for, $50 a night. And it's not like that anymore. Definitely has
No,
changed.
yeah, I was like, no, it's not, unfortunately, but you can still go for a great experience. I was like,
Yeah, very much
there's so much to do, and I think you and I talked about the next time we go to Vegas, we want to have an adult trip where we go watch a
yes.
play or something like.
We don't. Yeah, we're gonna do some of the shows. I'm thinking the next time that we go to Vegas, we should do some of the shows because every time we went, it's been like turn up club, all
Yeah.
that good stuff. But it's been amazing. It was amazing. Now it's time to get into our adult travel lifestyle.
Yes. So tell me, what is your? Or just tell me, where have you been internationally? List all of them. Go for it.
I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so I've been to, of course, Toronto, which was fun. I went to go try to find Drake. Not really, but it was cool out there. Honestly, that's probably one of the places that I've been to that party life was more enjoyable than I actually expected. If you have been in the club scene, I would say this was, I think I was 30 years old. Yeah, about 30 years old. So about 4 years ago, that I traveled to Toronto, right? And I was transitioning still of being my hot girl summer to I need to get out these club scenes. But when I tell you, like, that scene is different than the American scene. Like, they still actually dance, interact. You know, like, if you go to the club nowadays, like, it's just like who can get the cutest and come with their friend group. At least what I have experienced. But like in Toronto, it really is a party. Like back in the days, like you know, back in the 99s or 2000s. You know what I'm saying?
When you were 9 and 10, but
Hey,
okay.
I was referring to a song, okay? Leave me alone, okay? But yes, like it was fun. So Toronto was cool. I went to Amsterdam during New Year's Eve, and it was a different experience. So I've researched online, and actually that was one of the first international trips that I've taken, and I took a solo trip, but we'll get into that later. I was by myself, but I researched that Amsterdam is only allowed to have fireworks twice a year, one of the days being New Year's. So I thought it would be cool to be out there and like see them in their environment. But when I tell y'all, it was like a war zone. Like how we do fireworks in America, like make sure you're not around trees and open area and you know, like run away from the fireworks and stuff. Like, no, they're shooting fireworks in the audience, like out their hands. And it was so many ambulances everywhere. It was crazy. It was wild. Um, at certain times I was like running from building to building to make sure that I didn't get caught in a crossfire because it really is like that for real. Like they have no regulations. Well, they do. They're so strict with fireworks, but I'm surprised that when they actually are able to utilize them. And let me not put it on them because maybe it's the visitors coming in acting a fool. So I don't want to make it seem like Amsterdam don't know how to behave, you guys, but in the Netherlands they definitely was getting down. I didn't know what I was a part of, so it was an experience to be had, of course, you know, for like district, all that good stuff. I've been to Japan. I guess I'll give you three of them. I've been to Japan as well.
All
I
of
went
them.
to I'm not gonna go down all of them. We'll be here for a while.
We
No,
gonna be here.
listen.
Just give
Okay,
a list.
listen.
Just tell us where you
I've
been.
been to Nagoya, so and I would rather give you more of an understanding of these cultures than to give you a list of all my places.
That'll be a different episode then. But go keep going.
So
Let's keep going.
I went to Nagoya in Nagoya, Japan, and that was the first place I would say that I had a not issue, but there wasn't a large population that was English speaking there. So it was the first place where I actually had to learn how to like not say I did not use translator in other places, but like it was the first place that I had to be like proficient in my translating and utilizing my phone at all times, whether it be taking buses or whether it be like, you know, ordering my food, which I will say in Nagoya, I did not like the food that well at all. I probably lost about 10 pounds there when I was there. But I would only say maybe I didn't know what to order too. So it might have been a me thing, not a culture thing. There was a barrier. So I'm trying to figure out what this stuff is while at the same time trying to place an order while trying not to take 3 hours in a restaurant before I even get my food. You know what I'm saying? So it was definitely a different experience. I did get lost at one point in time, which was crazy. They kept telling me like take the train back to the airport. And I was thinking, like, you know, like the train or the bus, take the bus back to the airport. And I was thinking, like, the bus was going to be on ground level, but like I had to go inside of a building to go downstairs. It was like a subway, but it was buses that came out of there. And I'm like, I couldn't find it. And they couldn't explain it to me. Like, so it was a struggle, but I did make it back to the United States. And one thing I will say is that culturally, they're not used to seeing. That was one of the first places I went to too. That they're not at all used to seeing Black people. So like, I ended up having a translating conversation with the lady for like it was like 2 hours, no cap, in a hotel, and she was like amazed at braids. She didn't know like what a braid was, and like she would like wanted us to braid her hair and stuff like that. And like she was like, you know, like amazed at the fro, like, you know what I'm saying, like, and like she was like amazed at our skin color and complexion, which was crazy to me because I'm like, you know, like I was like a foreign object out there, but it was cool. Like I loved it. And so I gave you three. I'm not gonna go crazy with it, you guys, and maybe we'll come back to some more, but I wanted to give you an understanding of the different places that I went to. So what about you?
I'm gonna give you the full list.
Okay, go ahead, go down.
No, I mean, so growing up, I mean, we lived in Detroit, so like going to Canada was second. Like you just cross, like this is before passports and you just cross the
Right.
bridge. I think we accidentally ended up in Canada once, like trying to go to Port Huron, and it was a whole thing. Like my grandma could have just like drove to McDonald's, turned around, and came back, but she decided to stop at customs for some reason.
In Windsor,
Like,
yeah,
so
yeah.
we was there for like 3 hours. They was like, so that was an experience as a kid. But and my other grandma had a cabin there that we would always go to. But I would say as an adult, right before COVID, so in 2019, I did I'm gonna call it a backpacking trip through Europe just because I had a backpack on. But my
Hmm.
backpack had nothing to do with the trip. It was just a nice backpack. um, and so we went to, well, we had a layover in London, and that was really cool. I'll give more details in a future episode. We flew to Copenhagen, which was, we went to a wedding. Um, and that was really nice. Copenhagen was a very, very lovely country, very quiet, very neat, very clean. All the people were really sweet. And then we flew to Berlin, and then that's where I became really sick. I got a cold, and Berlin gives me anxiety. I feel about Berlin the way I feel about New York. And no offense if you're from New
Mm.
York, it's just not a place that I could live. It's too much. It's
It's
hyper. There's too much stimulus. For me, it was the graffiti on the wall. It was just everywhere, and
uh-huh.
I don't like going to Forever 21 just because it's too much going on. I need kind of like
Yeah, that's been your thing.
some organization when it comes to how I shop. And then we went to Amsterdam. So I've been to Amsterdam. Amsterdam was amazing, awesome. I did all the things. That's all I'll say. I did all the things that you do when you're in Amsterdam, and you have a good time when you do those things. That's my caveat for Amsterdam.
Oh, you know.
But it was right. But it was such a different experience, and it was awesome. And then we stopped in Lyon, France. That was nice. And then we went to Paris, and Paris was beautiful. But Paris is it's what everybody says it is on TikTok. I'll say it that way. It is
Yeah.
what it is, not friendly to Americans, and I'm okay if I never go back. I'll put it that way. But the Eiffel Tower was beautiful at night for the few
Mm-hmm.
seconds that it was lit up. And then lastly, my favorite place in my European travels was Barcelona. Honestly, Barcelona, Spain. Honestly, I thought about moving there. Like I looked up apartments because I loved it so much, and I think about it all the time too. That's my other Roman Empire thing that I think
It's
about
never
Barcelona.
too late to go ahead and make that transition. Pick up
Well,
the family. Well, you pick the whole
where I was
family and
like,
go.
I was like, if we didn't, if the older two were older or were out the house or live with us full time, maybe. But
Maybe.
they have their mom's side, so we can't just take their. I mean, if I can convince her to go too, yeah, let's go. Come on,
Come on now with it. Yeah.
girl.
Well, either way, we can visit frequently.
Exactly. But no, so those
Yeah.
are my travels, and that was fun.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I haven't been like to Barcelona, Paris. I didn't do it. None of that stuff. I've been trying to step away from the European area and try to get more into our culture. I have to admit, I have not been to Africa, ironically. And this year is something that I am trying to knock off of
Yeah.
my bucket list is going to countries in Africa. And
Where do you think am I going?
well, I was supposed to be piggybacking on a friend. I hope this friend watches so he calls me and let me know. But a friend's trip. So he was talking about going on a safari. So I know he was trying to hit a couple of different countries, 4 or 5 different countries. He didn't finalize it yet, or at least last that I know. This was about I haven't got ice yet, y'all. It was like a month ago that we discussed this, but he's pretty quick if you know the person. He's pretty quick, like one, he travels often. He travels almost more than me. And two, like he'll plan a trip and like buy the ticket on Wednesday and be gone on Friday type of person. So like he's definitely like he's got status. Let's just say that. He's got status in the flight world. So I'm trying to hop on that trip so I don't have to go by myself. But if I gotta make it do what it do, and I actually I tried to invite you. I told you to tag along.
Yeah,
You heard me
you
ask you. I did. So I know he has more so activities that he wants to experience, not necessarily he has to, as of the last that we talked, finalize the countries that we're traveling to. But hopefully I am able to knock that off my to-do list, my travel list, my bucket list, whatever you want to call it, this summer, hot girl summer. But that's another thing too. I heard it's going to be crazy hot out there, and he's trying to go in the summertime. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Africa is, or parts of Africa is definitely on my list too. I don't have a exact place. I kind of would like to do kind of how I did Europe, just kind of bounce from city or country to country and kind of experience it all at one time. But
Right,
I do know that, safety is a big thing when it comes to traveling. And just like for you, like I was not a solo traveler. I had a partner traveling with me. But
right.
solo traveling, like, do you have any experiences, tips or advice or things
I
to
do. Well, I
outdoor?
want to just generalize it at first. A lot of times people have a fear of solo traveling because they think that it's unsafe in other countries. Like people have this like taken mindset. And I'm not telling you not to be aware. And some countries have different things that they like finesse on. Like theft is high in places, or, sex trafficking may be high in certain places. But that's not the story to everywhere. And I want to break that stigma. I know that when that first trip that I told you about, Amsterdam, I was like scared shitless. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I didn't know. Like I'm going in the mindset of like watching like Taken. I'm like, I'm by myself, I'm a woman, I stand out, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. But like when I tell you, like, and I did, like, that was a trip that I probably enjoyed myself on a solo basis. But when I started interacting with people, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going with you. We going to another club? No, we not. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gonna stay right here, like type thing. Even though it's like New Year's, of course you're gonna be club hopping or whatever the case may be, or but like so after that trip, I got more accustomed to one, research where you're going, so you have an understanding of what's they have going on, or typically what travelers have experienced in those places. Two,
Yeah.
you'll realize that, like, a lot of times it be your own fear holding you back from actually having a good time. Like I stated with the Amsterdam trip, I met some amazing people that I just shunned away because they wanted to move to another location. So, like, I needed to get outside of my own fear and my own self and just experience the culture. Um, I would say, as a solo traveler, it is so much fun because you're able to like do what you want to do. Oftentimes, when you're traveling with someone else, you guys have to either be aligned with each other or have a plan and ahead of time of what you want to do. But as a solo
Hmm.
traveler, the world is your playground. Literally, you're able to go and try and do or chill as much as you want to because there's nothing that is holding you to, anything other than what your mind is desiring in that moment. So that's cool. But as a solo traveler, just make sure, you stay aware of your surroundings, know where you're traveling to, do your research in advance, and allow yourselves to have fun.
Yeah.
That's my tip.
I agree, and I think people underestimate how easy it is to meet people in Europe. Americans, non-Americans, people coming from other countries. I say all the people we met that I don't keep up with to this day, but we're all friends on Facebook or Instagram, I should say. And so I see them, but we met them in one country, I think Copenhagen, or over there, and then met them again in Germany. So like you get to meet people that you can have lifelong experiences with, and also it is safety in numbers. I will say I was a little hesitant about the hostel life. I was a little
Yeah.
scared about it at first. I didn't know anything about it, but it was actually a really great experience, to be honest.
I've been to a hostel too, and I actually enjoyed it. That's one of those places that, as you said, you get to know people, you get to create relationships, whether it be, staying in touch on social media and stuff. But I met a few people like at the hostel, and when I say we had a great time, and that was when I actually allowed myself to like actually interact with folks further down the line in my travel experience. But, like, we
Hmm.
had a great time, and it was a way of interacting with folks organically, because you walking in the room, is people there. It's like, hey, you walking in the hotel, it's like, what made you select this place, what you got planned for the rest of the day, yada yada yada. Like, so it was a great experience. Now, all hostels I heard are not the same. And my hostel, I will say, was very clean. So I was grateful for that. But I heard that's not always an experience. But that's a very cost effective way for you to,
Mm-hmm.
travel as well, especially when you're a solo traveler.
100%. I would say mine was different. In Amsterdam, so when we stayed in the hostel, and that was a
That's me
co-hostel.
too.
So like, yeah, so it's like it was like my bunk and then my partner's bunk, and then next to us was like two dudes, and then across from us was two girls. And I mean, it was okay. It was kind of like staying in a college dorm with eight other people. I didn't. The experience was the people were great, but I didn't care for the environment
The
really.
living conditions. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then we sit in a different one in another city. I forgot what city, and it was nice. It was lovely. A very nice experience. So it just depends on who you're around and also where you are. I said we were right in the heart of the red light district, so I fear that if you stay a little bit away from the red light district, you get a little bit more so on the hostel tourism. There you go.
Gotcha. I feel you on that though, for sure. My preference will still be hotels to the death for me. Airbnbs had my heart at one point in time, but setting up all these cameras and stuff and going up with
Yeah.
all these charges, I done kind of let go of my Airbnb lifestyle.
Yeah, Airbnb life is fine, but I do prefer a nice hotel that I can order room service. Somebody can come do all the things I don't want to do for the day. Yeah, I'm a hotel girly myself, so I do understand.
So I got a question, just random question, by the way, too. Have you ever done like the all inclusive type of stay? Have you ever done one of those before?
I haven't. Outside of a cruise, no, I
Mm.
haven't.
Yeah. Okay. So
That
tell me
like,
about your cruise life. We can talk about your cruise life. We can talk about
oh
your
my
cruise life.
cruise life. So I've been on three cruises now. I don't know, two or three. I think it's two. Either way, I like cruising. I enjoy cruising, and I've enjoyed the people I've cruised with. But I said it the first time I went, and I'll say it again. I think when you cruise, it is best to go with a group of people. There's so
Hmm.
much to do on a cruise. Like there's a ton of stuff to do. But you sometimes you don't like if you just go with one person, then there might be things that you want to do that they don't want to do, and then you feel obligated to do those things. And also, I want to go on an adult cruise. I've been on my last cruise was not like a kid cruise, but it was a family cruise, and so they didn't have a lot of turn up activities. If that makes
Yeah.
sense. They had great restaurants, good food, nice spas, and all the things. We had a beautiful room. I will always, always, always get a balcony. Like I will never have an interior room again.
Uh-huh.
Um, if you can be bougie, be bougie. It is worth it. That's all I gotta say.
Uh-huh.
What about you? I know you've been on quite a few cruises too.
Yeah. It
We've
was
never
funny
cruised
when
together.
I don't know, I can't remember exactly what you were saying that triggered me, but it was something that you said that triggered me thinking about a specific cruise that I went to out
Other people. I know you cruise by
yeah.
yourself once.
Yeah, I did. But yeah, I was thinking about the other people. Oh, that's what it was. You said something about other people and how, when you're traveling with someone else or just one person. And I thought about a specific time I was traveling with one person that you feel obligated to stick with them. But y'all know, I've told y'all time and time again, your girl would go off solo real quick.
We know.
So
I
I
think
started laughing.
I think
I was
you left me in LA. I probably could make a list of all the places that we've
yeah.
been together that you left me because I
I
need
mean,
to sleep.
yeah, and that's what I mean. It was one of those situations. Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all just a random story though. So I was traveling to the Bahamas on a cruise. We actually did. I think we were in Miami. We hung out in Miami before we ported. One of our friends came down there and meet us, and it was only us two that was traveling. But we had a great time. I mean, and her personality is fire just like mine. You know what I'm saying? So we went out. When we actually made it to the Bahamas, had a great time. She knew some people out there. We linked up with them first. And then after that, we kind of did our thing, met some people, great time, whatever. Well, she ended up getting into it with somebody, and they made us go back on the boat because I'm assuming the person was a part of like the cartel or something. The person that she got into, I'm not even joking. Like,
Oh
so they
wow.
forced us. They told us that they were either going to lock us up, which it was no physical altercation or nothing. It was basically, I guess, supposedly for our protection. But there was like either we're going to be detained. Let me not say locked up, detained, or we had to go back on a cruise boat. So I was upset. I'm like, how we, we on dock, we at bay. I mean, it was in the middle of the night. Of course, I'm probably wasted at this point, but I was still upset. Like, we gotta get stuck on the boat. We've been on the boat for the last two days. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I wanna be off the boat. That's what we're supposed to be doing right now. But hey, you got us in a situation. It is what it is. So we got in. She wants to talk about what transpired and all this other stuff. I said, well, my night is not over. I'm getting whoever's on this boat, I'm going to go find. And that's how I met Cruise Boo. That is literally how I met Cruise Boo, because I left
Oh
her butt in
wow.
the room. Yeah, I left her butt in the room after us getting kicked out of the Bahamas.
I didn't. I don't think I've ever known that story. I knew you met Cruise Boo. Like that's kind of where the story starts for me.
Yeah.
Is hey, I met this guy on the boat, but I
But
don't think I heard any of the before stuff. That's crazy.
yeah, it was crazy. And I was so, but I'm glad that it happened, because that ended up becoming like a lifetime friendship. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my homie, that's my dog. Cruise Boo is no longer my boo guys anymore, but we did kick it for a minute.
But that's
But
his name.
yeah, I give them nicknames. I like to give people nicknames. So
Protect their identity.
it sticks. Like, I talk to her about like people that she knows or has met. And I be like, they real name. Like, and she like, who? And then I say their nickname. And she like, oh, why you didn't just say that? Like, I don't know. It really does identify, like, I give them an identity based upon, the experience.
I know
So,
this is hashtags before hashtags was a thing. So
right.
now you
Literally.
just give them your handle, at such and such, such and such. Okay, yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, cruise life. So I will say this: I haven't been able to experience the bougie cruises like you have. I mean, not saying that I haven't had like the balcony experience and all that good stuff. I'm not saying that's the case.
It was
But
a sale.
every time I have been on a cruise, guys, I will say this. I've done. I'm not a Royal Caribbean girl. Y'all already know what type of girl I am with my turn up lifestyle. So I want to experience more of a wine and dine type of experience instead of the carnival. It is always a great time. Don't
It
get it
is.
twisted.
It is.
The food is not that amazing, but it's doable, and you get to eat when you leave the boat. But yeah, I wanna venture outside of the carnival cruise. But the crazy part is Chanel hasn't done a carnival cruise, if I remember correctly, right?
My first one was a Carnival cruise, and then
Okay.
the last one was MSC, and it was nice. But I want to do like a Norwegian, like I want to go on a big boat, like a big, big, big boat with all the stuff, or like a Virgin cruise because I know they are adult only, and so they have adult entertainment. That makes sense. And I'm not talking about
That would be
adult
nice.
workers, guys. I'm just talking about like a team entertainment for grown ups. Anyway,
Yeah, like it's directed towards adult, not the
there we go.
woo,
I
like the
mean,
adult
I'm
life.
not
They might
opposed
have it. Who knows?
to.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. All entertainment. Okay, so I guess when it comes to let's slide back into the U.S. What is the furthest you've traveled? Where'd you go from your
Hmm.
starting location? I'll say.
Um, I don't know what's the furthest. Maybe El Paso. I think El Paso is the furthest from Detroit. I don't know. Portland, El Paso. I think El Paso is the furthest because that's like at the border of Mexico, right? I
Yeah.
mean, I know it is because I literally could see Mexico when I was in El Paso.
Really?
Yeah, I literally could. So I was like, I know it's at the border, but I'm just
Oh,
saying, like, yeah. Well, yes and no, because they got a military base. Well, that's why I was out there, but they have
sure.
a military base right there because it's frequently they would get people that were literally crossing the border. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay.
So, yeah. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, I don't know what they're. I mean, everybody just wants a new life, but
Yeah.
but it's not like, what can I say? It's not like city life. You know what I'm saying?
Rule.
Um, it's very rural. I mean, the only thing I can remember is like the military base and the stuff they had there for the military base. Like, it was literally like a border, like protection, like bam, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I was like, what was your worst experience when traveling? And this could be anywhere.
Worst experience when traveling. I love traveling. I can't think of a bad experience. Let me think. Okay, if you got one at the top of your head, go ahead and hit me with it while I think. But otherwise, y'all gonna have to give us a second to think, guys, because I gotta think about this one.
I'll
Because
say
even
this.
that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't have any like awful travel experiences. I have an awful plane ride situation, and you know about that
Oh
and why I'm like
yeah,
not really interested in
yeah,
planes right now. But I would say my worst experiences had nothing to do with where I was. Like the travel was fine. It was the people I was with that made it not so great. Um, and you and I have been in situations where we have been with people and lost friends because we are not. We talked about that like a few weeks ago. Like
yeah,
traveling with friends can be hard, and it just ruins the whole experience. Like I'm thinking about Chicago. Remember when we just randomly went to Chicago?
yeah, yeah.
And that whole fiasco. Oh,
Very
also
much so.
something else that Nicole and I would do. Remember, we used to just be like, "Hey, you want to go to Cedar Point tomorrow?" And then we would just like get in the car and drive three
And
hours to Cedar
drive. Yes,
Point by
absolutely.
ourselves, just her and I, fast pass all the way. I was like, I know that's not like travel, but I also think road trips are traveling, and I take a lot of road trips these days, going
Yeah.
from DC back to Michigan, and I don't know. I want to do like a train trip with my grandma one day. That's a goal. She wants to do a around the world, around the nation train trip.
That would be cool. And I heard the train rides are a lovely experience too. So, and they're comfortable. A lot of them are very comfortable, especially depending on what you get. I definitely want to go on a train ride myself. I think that would be enjoyable. That is not an experience that I've been privileged to so far. Um,
You
and
didn't go with
yeah,
us on the train to Wisconsin?
no, you didn't invite me.
No, no, no. This was when we were in the sorority. When we went
No,
to States. Oh, okay. Where were you?
I don't
Oh,
know.
you had a death in the family.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, yeah, I was like, I don't know, but no, I did
Yeah,
not take the
I was like,
train.
we all went, so you had to be there. But I guess I don't think you came to that. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, what you talking about? I ain't been on a train. I know if I've been on a train, I've been thinking about a train, but no, I haven't done that yet.
Well,
I'm
I
like,
guess we
see,
gotta
y'all
get you on the
didn't, y'all heard me say you didn't invite me. I'm like,
train. I
I
was
don't
like, I
turn
didn't.
down
It
trips. I'm
wasn't
like,
my thing. It wasn't me. This
I'm
is
like,
not
wait
what
a minute, what you talking about? You've been on a train. What was this? Okay, but
did
yeah,
the whole
worst
train
scenario,
about it.
like you said, I think some of like I could think about like worst trips. It was the same thing. It was the conflict that I've had on the trip, but like LA, for instance. Remember when we went to LA and that
That was my number
situation?
two. Yeah, that was my number
Yeah,
two.
I was like when we went that one time because we've been to LA multiple times, but when we went to
Yeah,
LA
I know
and it
what
was
you're
just
talking
like
about.
awkward. Low key kind of had a little beef because of that beef. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I don't remember what happened, but I
But you weren't a part
remember
of the beef. You was on
I
that
was just
side.
there. Yeah, well, I know I didn't pick a side. I just happened to stay at the beach with the person that you was beefing with, and I no, that's on me.
But it was okay
We
though.
all
I
made it
still had
through.
love for
We
you.
made it through.
Yeah, y'all did.
I
Y'all
couldn't even
did.
tell you what the issue was, to be honest. I vaguely remember, but I couldn't even really give you all the details.
I could, but I'm not
Oh,
gonna go there.
okay.
But the
Again,
point
this
of the matter,
was like 10
yeah, this
years
was a long
ago.
time ago. Yeah, this was a long time ago. But you know, us Libras, we don't forget nothing. So
Oh, I'm sitting with one. Let me not do nothing crazy.
you won't forget it. Trust me, I know. But yeah, so I think yeah, people wise, but also it was not a bad trip because if energy or vibes are off, whether my best friend wants to stick around and because the fire was not towards her or not, I'm gonna still have a good time on the trip. And I literally was like screaming that as I was walking away. If
Look,
you
I feel
remember.
like by the nighttime, I do. I was like, but I feel like by the nighttime, I remember we all went to a club and we were fine.
Yeah, we
So
was. That was true. Very much so.
at least
But
I
we
was
had a little hiccup. We had a hiccup mid. Well, I think also because we were meeting up with people. Like
fine. Yeah.
once we went to the club scene, there were more people being brought into the circle of people, which it was already a big group. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I think we were traveling with like one, two, three,
Your brother was
five.
there.
Yeah, five or six. That's what. Look, I dipped off with my brother. We had a good time. We was good. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? So yeah, but point of the matter is it's like I don't think I would turn any negative situation into a positive.
Hmm.
There's no way. I don't care what I'm experiencing on a trip, unless like I get robbed or something. I just can't have experience. Knock on wood, God will never let that happen to me. But like, I'm gonna find a way to get back in my energy. Find my environment. Find my, even if it's like taking a breath. If I need to just step outside and get some air, and that's enjoyable enough within itself because you're in a whole new space in a whole new environment. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know. I'm always gonna allow myself to like turn the trip around, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But but yeah, I can't say like I had like terrible travel experiences. I've had terrible interactions at times.
Yeah. I would
Yeah.
say I've traveled with, like, outside of people I've dated, I think you're probably the only one. I'll say one of the only people I've traveled with consistently and had a good time almost every single time.
Right.
So you were my first travel partner, and I'm sure you'll be a part of my final crew of travel partners. So
I better be. Say no, I'm just playing. Maybe we just gonna have strollers and
look, you will fly to somewhere where you're not even supposed to be just to hang out with me for a day and then fly away. So,
Yeah,
like
we went.
we went to
That
Hershey
does
Park.
say a lot.
You
Yeah,
didn't have to be
Hershey's.
there. You just came, and then you left,
You
and that
guys,
was
and fun
awesome.
fact, I didn't even get to ride a roller coaster while I was at this. It's an amusement park, by the way. But I
It's a
came to
fun
see my best friend. Okay,
You watched an ice skating competition.
I
You don't ice
did. I don't. But it's a
skate.
part of our lifestyle. See, friendships are about sacrifice, guys. We talked about this on our friendship episode.
Friendship is about experiences, Nicole. That wasn't a sacrifice. You had fun.
Well, I did have fun, but I did sacrifice getting on roller coasters, which I really enjoy. But I didn't have time, guys. I had to go back to
Oh yeah,
work or
you had to
something.
go back. Yeah,
Yeah,
so you
like
had
I had to be back. But I wanted to experience my best friend. It was a long time since I seen her. It wasn't just necessarily because of like I had a little bit of time off, and it just so happened to be a time where she had to leave the state. So I'm like, well, I thought I was gonna be pulling up on her in DC, where it's just home for her, and well, outside of the DMV area, I would say that. But thought I was gonna be just coming and kicking at her crib, but when I found out she had to work, I was like, well, I'm coming out there then. You know what I'm saying? So yes, it was an experience, but like what I'm saying is, it's like sometimes it's reciprocation, it's energy. You gotta put it out there. You gotta be willing to, go above and beyond sometimes. And I mean, though, and be adaptable. I was adaptable.
Mhm.
This is what we're on. It's a family trip / work trip. Well, I'm on my way.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah,
I'd say it's not going to be perfect. I would say my Europe trip was it was a great experience, but there was some sour to it because we ended up breaking up like right after that trip
I was
because
just
of that
about to say
trip.
that, but I didn't know if you were gonna mention that.
Yeah, no, a lot of it's fun. I joke about it with Justin that a lot of my breakups happen after I travel with somebody, like almost all of them. So we traveled together and we're still together. So that means we're good. But yeah, that was crazy. We went to Europe for a month and then broke up like like kind of in Europe we kind of broke up and then just
Yeah,
solidified when we got back. And so I do wish that I could have that just a better experience. And I think that was on me. I really shut down and so parts of my trip just weren't that enjoyable because I was so shut down and I didn't really want to communicate anymore. So I would just say just be cautious of your feelings and who you travel with and be able to put stuff to the side. Even if it's like your best friend, you're having a moment like I mean, we've had tons of moments, but we work it out, we figure it out. We just like, okay, you hungry? Yeah, okay. And it's over.
food makes me happy. We started off this podcast like this. I guess we're gonna end it like that.
Full circle. And
Full
food doesn't make
circle.
me happy, but it makes her happy, so that makes me happy. There you
So
go.
yes, yes. Well, we want to thank you all for joining us on this travel episode here. Of course, we're going to be talking about a lot of things. We want to thank you for if you've been tuning into our other episodes. We talked about business, we talked about friendships, we talked about taking control of your life, taking action. We've talked about obviously now travel experience at this point. What else have we talked about, Chanel? Can you think about the topics that we talked about? I missed one or two, I think.
Are you? I was like, I know we talked about relationships, friendships, taking the leap, which I have
Yes.
not taken, y'all. Oh God, I need an accountability partner. I need to just do it. I even recorded a video. I have it full out. I just haven't pushed it. So yeah, maybe we'll
Listen.
revisit that.
I'm on TikTok. You guys, if you watched the first episode, we were talking about the fact that we were going to now start getting ourselves into the social media world, and that TikTok is the place to be at. And your girl has taken the lead. I'm posting it every day. She talked about she needed an accountability partner. I tried. Say that just like I'm like, Chanel, post. You gonna post today? I haven't looked. I did.
It's
I
me.
did. I did. It's her. But I know. You know what I need to do, guys? I know my best friend. I need to pull up on her because she needs that in-person motivational speech because then she'll get to going. And I don't know what it is. Like, it seems like when I talk to you face to face about something and be like, look, bro, let me just keep it 100. Just do it. And she don't even do it necessarily in that moment. But then next thing you know, I'm like, oh, she pressed go. Look at her go. You know what I'm saying? Like, woo.
I mean, I think about when I hadn't taken a maternity photo yet, and I was like 16 weeks pregnant, and you made me take a picture, and that was my first picture of my first baby. And I look at it all the time. See, look at that. She was like, "Have you taken a picture?" I'm like, "No."
I'm like, no, you gotta take a picture. You have to take a picture, even if it's for yourself and you don't share it with nobody. Like, you gotta take a picture. Like, I need to have a picture. Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's something different. But once again, we want to thank you all for watching our episodes. This episode, if you haven't seen the previous episodes, they are packed with great information, knowledge, and just laughter. So I would say tune in to some of those. Take a look at them. If you want to follow us on Facebook. Look, I'm telling my age, guys. Instagram and TikTok. My personal Instagram and TikTok is going to be Envision Speaks. And Chanel, what about your handles? Your personal handles?
My Instagram is Sweetz4, and my TikTok is Chanel Sweets. And then you can find us on TikTok at Envision Sweet Pod, and on Instagram you can find us
at Envision the Sweet Life podcast. So once again, we want to thank you all for tuning in to another episode. We'll be coming back on Monday, I believe. So we got an episode on Monday. We're gonna have our first.
For you.
Yes. Oh, I was about to spill the beans. You guys. Okay. I was like, we're gonna have our first guest star on here. We're gonna be bringing on a guest star. So I want you all to come join in on this conversation with us. We're bringing somebody that's impactful in this world. We're bringing on a life coach, and I want you guys to be in our conversation and our discussion. So do tune in on Monday, probably around 11 or 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We want to see you back here on this live. So thanks again for tuning in to Envision the Sweet Life podcast. And you can find us on all major platforms. We'll see you soon.
Bye.